Right, so I had two bamboo in the wood here, over in this corner, top left hand corner of the wood, and it was in kind of dapple shade, dapple sunlight. It was a CS 1046, and I prepared lots of space, dug up the ground, took any stones out, and backfilled with compost manure, and a big, when I planted it, a big pile on top of the compost manure. And also along, just coming to the start of the pathway into the wood that branches over to the right, I had another blue bamboo, and I think it's called a Yunnan 2. It's also under the name of Borinda Albocerea. Okay, so the growth and the colour of the culms, and there's basically just one new culm had come up from the CS 1046, and I think there was one or two from the Albocerea, the Borindas. What I expected out of them, what I wanted here was the blue culms to stand out here as you're coming into the wood, and it just hasn't worked out. And also not from the colour point of view, but from the growth point of view as well, and I'm going to show you that as well. So I've moved those two bamboos, and I've put the CS 1046 in here. So you can see it's just dark green, old culms or canes that they came with. There is one here, but it's not very big. It's very small, so it's not doing well. So I put it into here along the pathway, where I believe it's going to do a lot much better, because it's going to get the morning all the way around, the afternoon, plenty of sunshine and light. Okay, so what was here was this trachycarpus Fortunei, which I've just moved in here. So I've given it a really good mulch. The ground was already broken up and had compost in it from the trachycarpus. So it was a really easy transfer, done in seconds. So as compared to these bamboo here, which are basically, I brought them in at this. No, I think the CS 1046 came in several months later, and this is the Borinda, is the Tibet, a McCluriana Tibet. I'll put the KR number in the link. The culms are fantastic. You can see they're shedding their paper now. But if you can't get the CS 1046, I'd recommend this one highly. Like, it's screeching over, well over 20 feet, probably heading for 30 feet. And the colour is phenomenal. So this is what I was what I would like to have had in the wood, but it hasn't worked out. This has just gone on, the growth and everything. You can see the older culms, the green culms. This is Fargesia Borinda Blue Dragon, and this has CS 1046, CS standing for Chris Stapleton. The old culms here, culms on the left, they go dark because the blue is just a coating, and these new culms, they have that bright blue colour. But the height of this, since it's gone in here, is probably hitting 12 feet. But you see the Borinda Tibet, the new culms, they're much bigger, much taller, doing really healthy. And this is in the open here, open sunshine. So I brought the blue dragon in, this one here, and this one's in much more shade, especially during the summer, and it's not even half the height. It's barely showing some blue culms. I have taken the division off this, potted it up, and it's already, the division has started to throw up blue culms. So it's still very healthy, this plant, still very healthy, it's doing fine. But if you were to, if you didn't know the bamboos, you didn't know, you would think that there were two different species, I suppose, or two different types, variants, but they're actually the same. Now I have another CS1046. That's that one here. The CS1046 are exactly the same size. You can see the old growth that it came with, and a couple of old culms. But you see the new culms, much bigger, lovely coloration. And again, that's hitting, I know, 20 feet or something. I know it's getting huge, and I think it's because it's getting much more sunlight. I think the blue bamboos, just in my growing area here where I'm growing them, just do much better in light as opposed to being in the wood. And it wasn't even, there is light there, it's not completely dark, but I think the blue bamboos do better when they're getting the sunshine. Here's another one here, look, that's already up here. This is a Tibet, McCluriana. The height of it, well over 20 feet, I'd say there. So one of the divisions of the blue dragon is this one here. I chopped one of the culms that was getting, you know, nice coloration, but it's all about what's going to come out of this area here. Maybe over this side it might throw out some blue culms. We'll see. Okay, so this is where I've put the Borinda Albocerea. I did have a Phylostachys. It was one of the yellow types. It was struggling, really struggling. This bed, because it's a raised bed, is a bit drier, and I've had to water this to keep it going over the summer. Two of the old, I did a bit of an experiment there a couple of seasons ago, dividing those hard root balls of trachycarpus Fortunei, and two of the strongest ones I put in here and here. I got through the winter no problem, but they died during the summer. They absolutely just gave up the ghost. So I bought two small trachy Fortunei, and I put them in. Yeah, I think the trachycarpus Fortunei, you just put them in, you can forget about them, as long as they don't get too dry. So in the spot where the Phylostachys was, also I wasn't too keen on having a Phylostachys bamboo in here in case it actually just took over the whole area, because I have some different plants in here that they're going to be sharing the space with. So this is the Borinda Albocerea. I think it's a Yunnan 2. there was already composted manure in the soil, real powdery. It was lovely. So real quick transplant from down the wood into here, but it didn't really deliver as regards to those bluey grey culms that it's known for. So a lot of the culms in here are actually the old culms, the brown ones. And because it's a Borinda, it's not going to dominate the whole area in here like the Phylostachys. Just see here, kind of getting that bluey green. Yeah, not great colour. So I'm hoping, because it's in this bed here and it's going to get lunchtime, all evening sunshine, probably pick up some morning sunshine coming through the hedge here, the ditch. That'll do better. So I think, yeah, the blue bamboos, they do much better in the sunshine than down in the shade. Now I do have a couple of divisions of the Vivax bamboo and also Wang Wang Zhu, which I'll try in the wood next spring. I'll get them down and see how I get on with them. Right, so I have two planting spaces down there just on the pathway going into the wood after moving those bamboo, and I was wondering what could I put in. I love birch trees. I have a lot of ordinary silver birch. I would have loved to have put in Himalayan silver birch. I might try and squeeze one of the Himalayan, or one of the white bark, really white bark with the peeling paper on them, somewhere down there. But they need, I think, as far as I understand, they need full sun, or they get their best bark in full sun. Anywhere I've seen them growing, they're in full sun. Now I suppose I could play it safe as well and just keep with the theme of things down on the wood. I picked these trachycarpus Fortunei up in Beechdale Garden Centre. It's between Clonroach and Enniscorthy. Excellent garden centre. If you're getting into this planting, they have all these plants. They have all different palms, and they've a lot of stuff that I've never seen before. So when I picked these up, it was in a pot of, so you got 3 stems here, 2 here. They were a pot of 5, so it was just one break between when I took the pot apart and potted them up straight away. There was no and because the compost that they were in was wet or damp, the roots came away very easily, and had no problem just transitioning into this pot here. So there's 3 stems in this, and there's 2 in this, and I'm actually going to plant these up in those spots. Right, so I'm down in the wood now. So where I have the CS1046, there's lots of space in to the sides and the back here, and Nina is getting into the frame. Hello. Okay, here you go. Go on. Oh, good girl. And now Max, because he's jealous of Nina. Alright, well, okay. So since I transplanted and divided and put them into this pot, a new pot, and added some compost, you can see that the roots are already developed, really well developed, strong enough, and some really tough hardy ones coming down here. So I don't think these trachycarpus Fortunei, thanks Nina, she's just walking in the hole, these trachycarpus Fortunei will have a problem settling in. I better get this planted because the dogs are mobbing me. Right, so I have the 3 stem Trachy Fortunei over here, and in here where the Albocerea was, get out, yeah. I have I'm going to put the 2 stem Fortunei in here. But when I actually divided these up, I think you see all those little white dots there, that's the kind of a sand, and that's because when I transferred these, I transferred them into a compost that was for seed, so it was really fine. And just learning from when I divided up the trachycarpus Fortunei in the tunnel a couple of seasons ago, I actually used the composted manure, which is kind of chunky, and the roots did not develop in there. Excuse me, did not develop at all. So you can see how easy it's going to be for all these new roots, because these are all new. These are all new. Max is dry humping the two girls to bits, even though Nina's not in heat. I think he's just showing a dominance thing as well. So these are all new. Yeah, so if you're going to divide up anything, and especially the trackies, the palms, use the finest grade compost that you can get. Excuse me. So the roots are uninhibited. There's nothing really blocking them. They can find their way and they get really healthy. Now we'll get this one in. Right, so that's the trachycarpus Fortunei, looking super healthy, and I've covered it back over with a mulch here, which will probably help it over the winter. I'm going to give it a water now, just to have the roots settle in. That's the beauty of having broadleaf trees: birch, oak, ash, sycamore. They can all help feed the soil. Even the pines, pine needles, it's all going back in. The whole wood is basically covered in it. The soil, keep the soil very healthy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a mulch back in around this soil here.